Deathless Coast lies nearby. When you are ready to sail elsewhere, I shall bring you there. The half-breed elf must set our course. Speak with her, and we can leave. I must ask, why do you seek these powers? I can no longer communicate with my fellow ancestor trees, but I know that this Nameless Isle that you seek is the home of the Mother Tree, first among all of my kind. She intends to spread her roots throughout the whole world and make it her own. I doubt she will want you to gain these powers and stand in her way. Be on your guard. The wood of the sacred ancestor trees has long been coveted for its ability to resist magical attacks. The consciousness of the elf within was always lost when they were uprooted, though. I am different. I think and feel. It is the work of Freedman. Dallas wanted more than a ship. She wanted a warrior slave who was bound to obey. So Friedemann used source magic to keep me alive as I was torn apart and rebuilt. He made me feel every moment of agony, then marked my wood with a slave scar. When I was an ancestor tree, the Mother Tree demanded loyalty also, but at least I was one of many. Now I am alone.
Aren't you supposed to be off learning how to become the divine and whatnot?
Her eyes flash with something. Anger, perhaps, or fear.
But... never mind. We'd better focus on the task at hand.
She looks straight ahead, ignoring you.
Well, aren't you industrious? Of course, not everyone on the ship's manifest has returned, as you can see. Gareth went off some which way to see about his... parents. I suppose he must have gotten held up. You could go and find him, if you're so inclined. Ready to set sail when you are, Your Holiness. Fantastic. Now, on to the interesting part.
After many adventures, the party finally reached the place where Godwo can go to become divine. But more surprises and difficult choices awaited.
Here we are, the Nameless Isle. And here I thought Malady was unimaginative. Still, it's what's on the inside that counts, isn't that right? And this is the place you're meant to become a god. I can't help but wonder exactly what you intend to do with such a power. I have no doubt about that, but do remember, you can do what's good for you, too. All things in balance, you know. You'll want to hurry now. Divinity is waiting, after all.
Sabine slides her hand in yours, makes your heart skip a beat with her particularly coquettish smile.
I've something I need to tell you. You earned it just by being... you. You see, the thing is...
She scrapes her throat, hesitates, almost as if she's a bit nervous. There's a first.
I'm afraid you're going to accuse me of killing the mood, but... I need to talk to you about the Master. No, not anymore. Or so I hope. My dear sweet girl, I've grown to trust you. More than I've trusted anyone since I've had names on my skin. Wasn't easy, I know. Come, sit down with me for a moment.
You both sit down, cross-legged, knees to knees, hand in hand. Suddenly, a melody. Sabine sings a song, haunting in its simplicity. She uses no words, sounds rather. It's beautiful, yet somehow menacing.
This is my Scar song. It's all the Master needs to make me his slave once more, unless your voice opposes his. I will soon confront him, with you by my side. My life and my liberty I place in these soft, strong hands of yours. Will you sing? Good answer.
Her cat's eyes close as she leans in for a kiss. You kiss. It's sweet and wonderful. You wish it could last forever.
My word.
You both get up and smile to one another warmly. When you hear a sound in the distance and turn to look, Sabine pats you affectionately on the bottom.
Adventure calls, but I say we do this again sometime.
Here we are, the Nameless Isle. And here I thought Malady was unimaginative. Still, it's what's on the inside that counts, isn't that right? And this is the place you're meant to become a god. I can't help but wonder exactly what you intend to do with such a power. I have no doubt about that, but do remember, you can do what's good for you, too. All things in balance, you know. You'll want to hurry now. Divinity is waiting, after all. Excellent question. Normally, this place ought only to be known to Godwoken, but judging by the ships burning in the bay, there's been a breach, let's call it. Regardless of who's on the island, all that matters is who ascends. Make sure that's you. The strongest will survive and ascend.
Hello. This island is something else, huh? I'll bet I can find many interesting ingredients here. Of course. Told you I would, didn't I? Sure thing. I'll start hunting that down right away. Don't wait up.
Do what you must at this place, sorcerer. I don't want to linger a moment longer than necessary.
Tread carefully, my dear. Those are black ring banners I spy on the shore. I studied the tablet that you so generously provided. It showed me everything I need to know about creating a functional Swornbreaker. Once I have that, I'll be free of the Covenant. And free to spend the rest of my days with Mahalli. See those structures further inland? Remarkably like those from the caverns of the Black Pits, aren't they? Should you discover the parts needed for a Swornbreaker, please, bring them to me. I'll make it worth your while. Also, you will likely encounter sworn followers of the God King on that island, I suspect. I would avoid combat if possible. Death can be less than final for them, if the God King wills it.
Almira doesn't respond right away. Instead, she turns and gazes intently at the island. After a long moment, she finally speaks.
I sense a familiar presence. The Sallow Man. Yes. He's there somewhere. Likely commanding Black Ring forces. You should seek him out. He's a foul creature, but not opposed to cutting a deal. Beware his underlings, though. If they challenge your presence, pose as a thrall of mine, and you should gain safe passage. My name should still command respect among them.
Quite a journey I've found myself on with you. Is this where it ends, I wonder? Dangers indeed. You can almost hear the sounds of battle when the wind shifts correctly. And where there's battle, there's bound to be mercenaries. Gleku Duma, the words of the lone wolves. No doubt my former comrades will have them in their employ. Speak their words, and you might pass. Speak their words, and you might pass. Consider it a token of my thanks for the assistance in retrieving anathema. Pursuit of my interests has led me to fall in with some disreputable company in my time. For a short while, one such group was the Black Ring. I know, not something to be proud of, but they let me do as I wished, so desperate they were for aid after the death fog cut them down to size. A fine arrangement, until they started preaching about this God King and his infernal covenant.
He snorts derisively.
The last thing this world needs is another would-be god, and an army of fools willing to follow him. It's a sop to all the fools who think that someone will grant them power and immortality in return for loyalty. This God King has caused to make war with the Seven, and the Covenant is how he's gathered his army. They become sworn, as it was put to me, bound to serve, die, and be reborn for the God King for as long as he wishes. Then, at some ill-defined point in the future, they think they'll be rewarded. You should have seen them all. On their knees, worshipping a new tyrant just to spite 7 old ones. I got away from them while I still could. Unfortunately, Dallas was waiting to snatch me. You know why. A time is coming when you're going to need me, and I won't be much use to you if I'm performing self-surgery, will I? Besides, it doesn't matter if you don't let it matter. Black Ring, Divine Order, all labels try to define who we are. As soon as a skin is of no more use to me, I shed it. You ought to try it sometime, God-woken. There's a clue in the name. He's a god, or something that wants to be a god. Continue to march to the Seven's beat, and I'm sure you'll find out exactly what he is. They're all the same, you know. Tyrants, liars, carrion birds. The best thing would be for them all to destroy each other and leave the rest of us to live in peace. My efforts continue. I must admit it's quite an intricate piece to work with, even for someone like myself. I remain confident of success, though.
No one's ever regretted having extra help in a fight. I'll guarantee you that.
Before you stands a shrine of a particularly strange design. As you approach, you feel it hum with a benign power. It seems to pull you in.
A Magister, dead on the beach. What a surprise.
You're a young Magister, devoted to Dallas. You fight alongside paladins. The Order united in battle, fighting the Black Ring, as in the Great War. It's the proudest moment of your life, and then it's the last.
You need a bath. plot thinnens.
Magisters inhabiting us. All dead.
Quick as a flash, the Magister has an arrow notched on his raised bow. He falters. A glimmer of recognition crosses his face, followed a moment later by a wry smile.
My Fort Joy Saviour! I never thought I'd clap eyes on you again. You always seem to catch me at a low ebb, unfortunately. My troop was slaughtered by Black Ring. I'm the only survivor. What are you doing here?
A skeptical eyebrow arches upwards.
Quite a coincidence to meet again like that, wouldn't you say? Never mind. There are more important matters at hand. Bishop Alexander and the others might still be out there. I need to find them. Let me stay by your side for now. You can count on my bow in any fights to come.
He slings a quiver of arrows across his back and nods.
Eyes sharp. No!
Delorus kneels and rolls over the corpse of a Magister. He takes in his comrade's lifeless face for a moment, then bows his head.
Pierced. I'm sorry. Pierced. He was an old friend. He encouraged me to join the Magisters. And I talked him into coming to this island. This wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for me.
Delorus closes Pierced's eyes with his palm, then gets back to his feet.
You're right. Pierced wouldn't want me to wallow. He'd want me to carry on with our mission. Let's get moving.
As if from nowhere, a sweating warrior appears before you.
Who the hell's be yow? My gut misgives, and time's too short for doubt. Who be yow really?
This satisfies him. He points you down the rise to where a skirmish still continues.
Then get to work right quick, yow wolf, and earn yow a keep. The Order sends its swine, and yow must help us kill 'em. Move, Merc.
Comprehension spreads.
I fear not death, that I...
Prepare yourself. Greet the Reaper for me.
Breathless, the Magister fishes out a canteen of water. She gulps half of it down, then splashes blood and grime from her face with the rest. She nods at you, a touch wary.
My thanks for your help. But who are you? Fortunate for me, it seems. Let me return the favor. If you need shelter, look for the Bishop and the rest of my comrades. They retreated north to our rendezvous point. We'll head there once we've tended to our fallen. Our true leader has returned and united us. It's nothing short of a miracle he's made it this far. He's dodged assassins more than once. Now it's our holy duty to safeguard him until he becomes the next divine. And that means putting these black-ringed devils to the sword. Isn't it bloody obvious? They're destroying the sacred temples and killing everyone in sight. If I were you, I'd get out of the open as soon as possible.
You frown with surprise. Alexander vanished along with all the others when the Lady Vengeance breached the Hall of Echoes. You assumed he was dead.
I've got questions for him, and he'd better have answers, or his second death will be even more painful than the first.
Has as many lives as a cat, it seems. Let's see if he acts like one when cornered.
White-hot pain, fangs sinking into you. A Magister appears and offers her hand. You reach for it, but there's a loud snarl. Warm blood soaks you. Then, darkness. The altar stands before you, flecked with moss and the cracks of age. An ant crawls across the surface, dipping in and out of the inscription that's engraved on the rock. In honor of Rallick, first of the gods and patron of humanity. As your prayer drifts away on the breeze, you feel the world around you shift. You open your eyes to a courtyard with wooden targets and practice posts scattered about. A man stands in the center of the court, his face turned towards the sun, his eyes wide open. He's old, grey hair matted against his skin, but you still recognize him, Rallick. He doesn't look over as you approach. It's only when you're standing right beside him that you see that his eyes are clouded and grey as his hair. He is completely blind. "Go, God-woken," he croaks, a faint smile on his face. "Go and do your duty." The vision fades, and you stand once more in the shadow-speckled glade of Rallick's temple. Looking down at the altar, you see a faded symbol for the sun carved into the rock.
You don't get out much, do you?
A Black Ring captain stands before you. She looks remarkably ordinary, you think, as far as Black Ring go. But then you hear a voice inside your head.
Tell me who you are, or I will kill you. And do not doubt me, for I tell the truth.
Her expression does not change. She cannot read your mind, but you can read her face, and you see she grows impatient.
Tell me who you are, or I will kill you. The sign is good, so kill the divine pigs and kill the Godwoken, kill them all, and then perhaps you die and rise again.